Hello and welcome to the second series on Metagame Monday, where I take a look at popular team archetype and explain how and why its sets work, how to beat it, and how it matches up against other archetypes in the form of replays. So people that watch my channel has spoken, they wanted me to cover the nut core. So what is nut core? Excuse me. Let me shuffle Pokemon around. N-U-T Nihilego Urshifu Defiant Thundurus. So yeah, basically this team is kind of similar to the team I covered last time in that it usually relies on a lead mon plus Clefairy plus 2 cleanup Pokemon in the back. So basically, by that I mean you lead with Thundurus, you start by Dynamaxing and you cover your Thundurus with Follow Me. If Thundurus needs extra kick, you go for Helping Hand. If there is Urshifu, you go for Moonblast. That's how it is. So yeah, that's how Thundurus works, but it's not limited to the Thundurus only. Nihilego is surprisingly good Dynamaxer. Like, it's actually good. Like, the Dynamax in Nihilego is kept in mind in this team. As you can see, it does not have Power Gem, so it only has kind of access to one rock move, and then it has to kind of spam Sludge Bomb, but spamming Sludge Bomb is not a problem either, since if you just get a knockout with Meteor Beam, you practically get +2 special attack, and with that, Sludge Bomb pretty much hits everything hard. Except for Steel types, you just get walled by anyways, because they resist rock moves. And then Nihilego got Trick Room, but more on that later. So yeah, Nihilego is surprisingly good Dynamaxer as well. What many people forget is that it got extremely high special defense and HP. Like, look at this. 109 more 31. That is basically stat rivaling of that of Cresselia, and that is already very bulky Pokemon. And not only that, but if you go for max Rockfall, you raise the Nihilego special defense because it's a rock type. And during Sandstorm, rock types get 1.5 boost to special defense, so Nihilego can be surprisingly good late game cleanup. So yeah. Also, it beats, like, in late game, it also beats Torkoal plus Porygon 2 very nicely. Especially if you just get, like, Porygon 2 to, like, 50 to 60%. Meteor Beam just now picks it off. And Torkoal, I believe, cannot knock you out with Earth Power because, again, you just got such high special defense stats. So yeah, that's Nihilego as a sweeper in late game cleaner. Other than that, we got Rotom Heat on the team as well. Like, I was, like, when I was looking at this team, I think this is not exactly my team. I looked at some random teams and I did not understand Rotom Heat at first because, like, you already got electric type sweeper on this team, so why would you have another one? But trust me, Rotom Heat is absolutely amazing. You're going to probably see it more in the replay section, but it's definitely a very important Pokemon to have on a team. Especially after we get the Metagross matchup, which is otherwise pretty catastrophic for the team. So yeah, of course, like, it has synergy with Clefairy as well because it got Nasty Plot, so that is kind of like, sometimes you just kind of get a free Nasty Plot off and then you just Dynamax. And Rotom is quite a Pokemon in Dynamax. Again, like, you can see its defenses, they are pretty high, and with Dynamax HP, it fixes its only problem, that of it has a low HP stat, like base 50. And it has Citrus Berry, and surprisingly, I don't know the exact calc, but if you got Friend God, it takes the Muddy Water from Tapu Fini surprisingly well, so you don't have to fear that either. If you had Clefable, I would be a bit skeptical about some Rotom Heat leads against some teams, but Rotom Heat with Friend God takes the Muddy Water pretty well. And the last Pokemon, originally on this team, I got Gartana, but I felt we did not have a so-called perfect Sun matchup yet, which is kind of surprising, as I've said. Rotom Heat and Nihilego, like, pose quite a big threat to the Sun, but I just wanted a little bit more. Also, I realized that that random guy that created the team, I just don't remember, I'm sorry. Feel free to tell your name in the comments, but this person got a Trick Room on Nihilego, and I thought, like, ooh, wait a minute, we could have a secret Red Ocean Trick Room mode on this team. So basically, we, like, lead Clefairy plus Nihilego, and we just set up Trick Room at Glastrier plus Rotom Heat, just sweep the late game. Or like early game, because you're Glastrier tends to get very easily knocked out when it just waggles its finger for follow me. So you can kind of get like Glastrier in pretty safely, and with Assault Vest it's ridiculously bulky and it just picks off some teams. Also, one important note for this thing, without the Trick Room and Nihilego, it would be very screwed against the Tailwind teams. So having a Trick Room Nihilego is actually pretty good, just so we can beat the Tailwind teams a little more reliably. Like, some Tailwind teams just don't have like a counter for Trick Room, or they, like Resurrection Trick Room, I mean, they usually got counter for Trick Room in the form of like Taunt, but not for a Follow Me plus a Trick Room center. Unless they got Earthquake, that is. In that case, Nihilego is not surviving, even with Friend Guard, but... so yeah, and it's like, especially good on ladder. Like, they do not expect it. And it's just kind of like, they set up Tailwind, you set up Trick Room, and it's game over. It's game over right from there. Because, like, the Trick Room, the Tailwind teams, I mean, hyper-offensive Tailwind teams are especially allergic to Glastrier and Trick Room, since they're, like, so frail. Glastrier will just, like, pick them apart very easily. So, yeah, these are the modes of the team. Now, let me just go. I mean, these sets are self-explanatory as well, kind of. So, Clefairy. Yeah, Follow Me Helping Hand. Definitely support the Resurrection Sweeps of the Thundurus and Nihilego, and Rotomeat and Glastrier sometimes as well. So, these moves are self-explanatory. Now, the third move is... I'm pretty skeptic about it. Like, there are, like, many options what you can pick here. Moonblast is good, just so you can beat... just so Clefairy is not as passive. And with Moonblast, it still brings down Urshifu down a Focus Sash, which can prove to be very useful. But I can think of like people running Sing, so we can counteract the Trick Room a little bit better. It punishes some passive spots like people setting up Nasty Plot, Sword Stances. You can kind of Sing them and they might be screwed because they're like main Dynamaxer that has just set up is put to sleep, and that's pretty much game over sometimes. But what I especially like next to the Rotom Heat is, I've said before, Tapu Fini likes to go for Money Water. And that brings down, that does like 40% Rotom Heat. It doesn't quite proc the Citrus Berry, so that is kind of a problem, right? So what you might want to go for is a Heal Pulse turn 1. They go for Money Water, bring you down to 60%, then they attack with something else. Then you go for Heal Pulse, heal back to 100%, and you suddenly got like full HP Rotom Heat next to Friend Guard with +2 special attack. And as you can imagine, that is game over very easily for a lot of teams. So, but I'm gonna stick to Moonblast on this set. But I think that is quite a good idea that I could share with you. Now I'll run Max Defense so we do not get counteracted by Steel Taps as easily. For example, Cortana's Max Steel Spike, the usual Assault with Cortana, is only like 62% to one shot, which is not much, which is actually quite a lot. Quite a high chance, but not a high chance at the same time, so it can save some situations, I'd say. So I like the Max Defense as well for stuff like... I mean, we're not living Regigigas Max Lightning anyway, so it's like, kind of like, it doesn't really matter. Helping and Max Phantasm from Spectrier, we're just gonna get knocked out. And without Helping Hand, we live the attack, so it's like, yeah, let's just try surviving. Let's try to survive these Max Steel Spikes. Alright? Alright, this Thundurus is just self-explanatory as it goes. Like, it is basically our main sweeper. It hits pretty hard with the Max Earthstream. It takes the... Basically... I mean, like, Incinerators are probably not gonna lead against us. Since we already got, like, Nihilego Urshifu and pretty free Nasty Plotter against Incineroar, but... Liners might be a threat to the Nihilego and Urshifu with Max Airstream and Max Quake respectively. Max Rockfall hurts Rotomeat pretty hard as well. So Thundurus just kind of punishes that with Defiant boost, and if it gets the attack boost, it's pretty much game over. It hits way too hard right after that. And you know what? If it gets attack boost, it goes for Max Airstream, and with Max Airstream it outspeeds every single Pokemon in the game. Except for Regigigas. You need to be a little bit faster to outspeed Regigigas at +1 speed. But that's Regigigas for you. It's pretty dumb one. Basically, the only reason we use it like instead of Tornadus is that it got electric type coverage. So like Basically, Thundurus is Tornadus with electric type coverage, and that's just like too good to pass on. You KO stuff like you can KO Nihilego all of a sudden with Max Lightning. You can KO Tapu Fini much more easily. Yeah, it's no brainer. And Max Knuckle allows us to beat, or allows us to set up a little bit more, even with Max Knuckle, so we go for even more sweeps. And it deals with rock types and ice types that might bother the Thundurus. Urshifu is your bread and butter set. It's focus sessions and fits, it's ridiculously good late game cleanup mon. Sucker Punch is a great priority move. Do not run Poison Jab on this. It's like, Protect is too much to good to pass on, and Sucker Punch is also amazing in late game cleanups. Nihilego, as I've explained already, like, Meteor Beam might look like, oh, I want Power Gem, you might be saying, but really, if you get Meteor Beam off, you just pretty much can spam Sludge Bomb and it still hurts almost as much as Power Gem would. Sludge Bomb also got nice poison chance. It's like really good to break the focus ashes of like stuff like Urshifu. And Trick Room is for that surprise mode and also allows us to actually beat Tailwind decently. If we wouldn't have Trick Room, we would be pretty screwed against the Tailwind, so yeah. And yeah, Protect is just your bread and butter move. Max special attack, max speed, some 444 EVs. It's like, basically it allows you to just get more points into the stats, more than if you would go for like this. You see? And like you get like +1, and this way you get +1 here and +1 here. So this is why a lot of people run this kind of like weird set on the Pokemon that want to run max speed. And yeah, Power Hub gives Meteor Beam a one turn move, so basically just immediately charge up and then attack. Also, it's good to note, Incineroar does not run Protect very often, so whenever you just are up against an Incineroar with Nihilego, it's genuinely a free Meteor Beam against it. Whatever switches in will get hit very hard, because you also get like immediately the +1 special attack, so you can pretty much just like one-shot Incineroar. And it cannot Protect, Incineroar almost never runs Protect, so it's pretty much free Meteor Beam against them. This Rotom Heat set, like Overheat, Thunderbolt, Nasty Plot. Some people like to run Will-O-Wisp, like instead of like Protect, or some people, even crazy people, run Ice Witch as well, just so you can like, it's great in best of one though. I've gotta say, if you're running it on ladder and you already Nasty Plot it, and suddenly bring out a Ice Witch, opponent will never expect that, like never ever, since Protect is just so much better move otherwise. Other than that, this Rotom Heat is trying to speed creep like all of these Tapu Finis and Venusaurs without Sun, because a lot of Venusaurs tend to go like bulky in last few weeks. So you just outspeed almost all of these Tapu Finis and Venusaurs without Sun with this speed investment. Then you get like Breakpoint here in special attack, so you see you get like +2 stat for 8 EVs only, and rest of it is put into the HP. Now I'm probably, I don't know the calcs, but I feel this might be a little bit better. As you can see here, we get like many extra stats for like, so we basically get +1 here and like +1 here. So we pretty much got like +2 extra stats for just optimal EV spreading. And last, Glastrier is with Assault Vest. So basically, there's no reason to like invest into the defenses since they're already so high. So it's just like, yeah, might as well run Assault Vest, because like it's not taken already on a team, and Assault Vest Glastrier is great. It is really bulky, and it just completely bullies Sun, as I'm gonna show you in replay in like a minute right now. You will see like how well it takes eruptions all of a sudden, and basically this is like these are the best moves you can have, plus defense max move, plus special defense max move, stab move, and plus attack move. So basically, if there is weak on Incineroar and you expect it to switch in, you can go for Max Knuckle, get the Max Knuckle boost, and then KO the Incineroar and get Chilling Night boost. So you suddenly, instead of being -1, you are suddenly +1 thanks to all these boosts and great balance mechanics. Alright, actually, should mention one thing. This gives you 1 extra stat due to Assault Vest. So basically, if you got like odd number, the Assault Vest does not give you extra stat, but if you got even number, you get +1 extra special defense from the Assault Vest. So this is a little bit more optimal. Also, I do not run much speed on Glastrier. Excuse me. I'm gonna do this. So basically, if you're running Glastrier, I like to win a lot of. I like to win speed dice, like speed dice that are not speed dice on Glastrier. Yeah, you get the idea. I just want to outspeed other Glastriers outside of Trick Room. So yeah, because some teams tend to run Glastrier as well with Paragon 2, and I just want to win all these speed dice and outside of Trick Room. So yeah, that is the team explanation. So hopefully it's clear. If you got any more questions, of course, ask in the comments. There are plenty of great people in the comment section always telling me, like, oh, that's great, but how it goes. And I like to answer, like, most of the time I just go, like, I mostly upload the video and answer all the questions in the morning. So if you're like, oh, he's not answering, just wait like 20 hours and I'm going to answer the question. Don't worry about it. So, excuse me, let's go to the replay section, alright? Thanks to the addition of Glastrier, this is going to be quite an easy matchup, as you're going to see. So basically, I'm going to let it play and like, you're going to see for yourself. Actually, in this case scenario, because we don't have the Swords Dance Glastrier, we need to go for the max. And basically, I'm going to, again, take the worst case scenario, thinking like they're going to go for Follow Me in Trick Room. Just not really the worst case scenario, but if they would double Expanding Force, this would do absolutely nothing to the Assault Vest Glastrier. Oh yeah, and I would just pick up this hatterene here and like, yeah. Also, I deliberately do not go for G-Max Smite in this, wow, that was a crit. Yeah, told ya, it's ridiculous. So basically, I deliberately did not go for G-Max Smite in this replay because that would be like... Yeah, G-Max, you would have to just, by the way, take into account, there's going to be G-Max Smite in this matchup, so you have to be extra careful about that. But like, basically, if you're not super unlucky, I think this should be like quite an easy matchup for you. By the way, because of the +1 special defense I got from Max Quake, we took the Max Mindstorm. If we would not have the +1 special attack, special defense, we would just get KO'd. Also, this is like this section I'm gonna show you, where hatterene just gets stumped. Also, I'm surprisingly unlucky in past few days. You'd be surprised. Not just in Pokemon, but like other media, like video games. I got pretty unlucky. So this is the like showdown making fun of me as well. Like there's no stakes here, Mr. Luck. You know, if there's higher power control and the like, there is no stakes here. There is no need for my Rotom to hit twice into itself to showcase the matchup is surprisingly close. There are no stakes here. I'm testing against myself basically. So I don't know. Luck is a weird thing. Alright, so second showcase of the replay is up against a Torkoal plus Venusaur. And it goes probably exactly how you would expect it to go. I'm probably need to go for Follow Me here. So, alright, by the way, I must go for Venusaur. So if they go for the Max God, we might be a little bit screwed. Like the eruption goes off, but I think still we would be pretty ahead. But basically the reasoning is that if I go for like Max Quake, I first off don't KO Torkoal, and if they go for Sleep Powder, oh mamma mia, they just go for Sleep Powder, they hit on a Clefairy, and next turn they can just hit on a Glastrier, and that's pretty much game over if they did hit again. The chances of that are pretty low, like they have like only 56% to hit both of the targets, but you know, some people are unlucky as me, and you don't want to risk it. So going for a Hellstorm and a Venusaur is kind of a no-brainer. So yeah, Sun matchup is pretty easy thanks to the Glastrier. This is going to be like, I think, the last positive matchup I'm going to cover this one in this replay session. So I'm going to just showcase you. Alright, so Incineroar plus Dusclops is surprisingly annoying. I thought the Rotom Heat would just go for the sweep here, but then I realized that the Dusclops most of the time has Haze, so putting up Nasty Plots would be completely useless. And with the power output, like, I would not have enough powerful damage output to match up against the Tapu Fini and the Glastrier in the late game, like, or mid game. So yeah, you can see here like how easy the Haze is, but don't forget, by having Trick Room, we not only have like ability to set up the Trick Room against Element, we can reverse it as well. Also here, by the way, this is like very hard to showcase the matchup. Here, since there's like a lot of mind plays and mind plays against myself in, yeah, like theoremoning mind plays is very hard. So basically, what I'm gonna tell you, like, you need to play well here. You need to just get the mind plays right. But as you can see here, reversing the Trick Room and like using the max rockfall in right time can be very irritating for the opponent. As you can see here, Nihilego just reverse sweeps now. It's very easy for it to reverse sweep, as long as you keep the Trick Room off the field. So yeah, I believe I got Rhythm Heat in the bag, I think. Also, we just don't want you to Glastrier here, which I was very surprised about. So my opponent's Glastrier just goes for the knockout here in Nihilego. This is why you kind of have to keep the Trick Room off the field, since the Glastrier will KO your Clefairy with Max Steel Spike. And after they KO it, it's genuinely easy for them to just go for Max Quake. And by the way, I gotta warn you, the Max Quake KOs Nihilego through the Protect, so you have to be very careful here. If you don't Dynamax Nihilego, they're gonna KO you through the Protect. And if you Max Guard there is a high chance they will KO you the next turn. So yeah, that's basically it. This matchup can be trickery, but you want to just use your Nihilego as the reverse Trick Room option and then reverse sweep with it. Also, take note that Max Rockfall does not KO Glastrier, so chip it away, alright? Don't make the same mistake I did in this replay. Now, I do not remember this matchup, but I think it's going to be actually pretty positive. What we're gonna see. So basically, Nihilego plus Clefairy is kind of a free, like completely free against this team. So basically, I'm again gonna simulate that we got like the... by the way. Alright, gotta explain this. So basically, Wolfeys' team is extremely bad against the Trick Room, and I'm not kidding. Like, if you look at his team, like, Wolfeys' counteraction to Trick Room is basically pivoting around with U-turn Roller Beam and Burning Shot Incineroar, like, infinitely. But Rapid Strike Urshifu being, like, the next very important component in the Grass Fire Water core. Very viable, very stable core. So basically, Wolfey like switches back and forth, and that's like the strategy. So it's not going to be that simple against real Wolfey if you face up against it in a tournament. This is not going to be as simple as this replay. Wolfey is absolute master in mind plays. So, but basically the team still has quite a big disadvantage against the Trick Room. So if you just manage to get a Glastrier in at one point, there's a high chance Max Quake and a Coalossal will be genuinely free. Also, this is like, again, like kind of the nightmarish place. Max Flare coming up. Oh yeah, Nihilego is Immunite of Volcalit. That is very good. That is an important thing to note. But even with +1 special defense, +1 special attack, the Nihilego still struggles to KO it in the Roll Beam. Since there is Light Screen, which gives it 50% extra special defense boost, there is Assault Vest, so yeah, this Roll Beam will get dumped very fast. Like, look at this, that did nothing. But the important part is Glastrier is just going bananas as well. Now, Rapid Strike Urshifu is one of the best counters to the Glastrier in the game, since it forces the Glastrier to use non-stab Max Quake, which is pretty lackluster. Like normal Urshifu, like Dark Type Urshifu, we just get Max Hailstorm to Oblivion, which basically you bring it down in Focus Sash and then Hail breaks the 1 HP, so yeah. Also, right now the Trick Room turns here. But basically, with Rhythm Heat in the back, this is genuinely easy to clean up. Also, like with Max Hailstorm, we would also break the Focus Sash of the Urshifu, which is... The Urshifu is already -1 defense. And with the Hailstorm, we would just break the Focus Sash. And we still got, like, extra attack from +3 attack on Glastrier, as you see here. So we would be able to KO it with close combat. Even if they go for, like, Surging Strikes on the Rhythm in the back, this should be pretty clean. So yeah, this is the Wolfey matchup. Alrighty, let's continue the ride, pun intended. So, dual horse matchup. So I don't think their opponent is gonna ever they're never gonna bring Glastrier into this matchup. Like, why? Rhythm Heat, my Glastrier, Urshifu, Nihilego all counteracted pretty much perfectly. Also, there's gonna be like a lot of mind plays in this matchup as well. Like, I basically deliberately lose a lot of the mind plays early game, But we're gonna see, like, even if I lose all of them, it's still gonna come down to, like, extra mind play. So, basically, if they go for Clefairy here with Max Phantasm, this is a 1. Guaranteed 1. If they go for, like, Max Strike and Clefairy, this is a guaranteed 1. And basically, Clefairy could go for Sync turn 1. So, if they, like, deliberately ignore it turn 1 with helping and plus Max Strike and Thundurus, for example, Glastrier could go for Sync, which is extremely risky for them. So, like, I think some people are just straight up going to go for a attack in the Glastrier just so they prevent Sync, but, like, Thundurus gets very dangerous as well. Like, you can go for the mind plays, and if you're, like, really fearing this matchup, I highly recommend adding in Sync to the Glastrier, just so you win this mind play a little bit more leisurely. Also, I miss Overheat here, so basically next turn I just go for, like, I give myself extra chance to hit the Overheat, so like Tier Morning like works. So yeah, I bring this Urshifu down and Focus Sash. All right. Next turn they're going to go for like. Oh yeah, basically they go for Electro Webs just so they make the Urshifu's speed lower, so I cannot Sucker Punch them. So, by the way, get this mind play right. All right. Go for close combat at one point when opponent does not expect it. And you should have won the game. Yeah, so yeah, again, a lot of mind plays. So these matchups are kind of like hard to imagine in tier morning, but basically I'm gonna tell you, this team is for mind players. You need to get some predictions correctly. It's not a simple team, but if you get them correctly, ooh la la. Imagine if you get like Max God turn 1 with Thundurus and sing the Spectrier. Like, that's a loss for the opponent, guaranteed. So yeah, get the mind plays right, and I think this matchup should be doing pretty well. You should be able to win. Alright, this is the reason we run Rotom Heat. This is like, there are many reasons for like cleaning up Sun, but this is the matchup you absolutely need to have Rotom Heat for. So observe this. I believe, what do I do here? Yeah, I just go for Tailwind here. And Max Steel Spike, actually this is not a guaranteed KO on Glastrier. But even if they would KO Glastrier, this is just Max Flare in the Metagross, guaranteed KOing. If they go for Brutal Swing Max Rockfall, they do not KO the Rotom, so it's again kind of like useless, you know. Alright, and Rotom Heat just kind of cleans up very easily right now. The lowered accuracy of Tornadus is just also quite a big boon to the opponent's game plan. Also, I believe this matchup gets kind of ugly right now. Like, I just screwed up like big time, like multiple times in a row. Like, this Tornadus, this, by the way, team I'm facing up against is a sample team on Victory Roads. So if you, like, I'm probably gonna link it in, like, description. Most of these teams are, like, sample teams. Yeah, I'm gonna probably link the Victory Road sample team compendium in the description. Also, like, you can see here, like, the matchup is still 1. It's kind of close. It's surprisingly close because, like, the Tailwind is just such a bad matchup for this team, as you saw there. Like, Nihilego just could not get the speed on the manage and just kind of, like, got trampled over. But yeah, this matchup should be somewhat winnable. Even if they go for the Max Rockfall, then my Glastrier is still very much alive, and they're like, without Metagross, they actually have pretty hard time killing the Glastrier. So yeah, I think this matchup with Rotom Heat plus Helping Hand should be relatively easy to win. Alright, stick to Rotom. Alright, we signed up for more bad matchups. This team surprisingly got like a lot of like, I would not say like bad matchups. Excuse me. Yeah, music is still going. It does not have exactly bad matchups, but they're certainly not positive. Like, you see here the Kingdra is just kind of like, there is no like anti-rain measure, extra like anti-rain measure as like anti-rain measure. But yeah, basically, like, look at this Rockfall. That did not do enough damage. Like, Hydro Pump actually missing, actually, it's gonna matter a lot in the late game. I just realized this replay might not be as reliable source of information as I wanted it to be. Oopsie daisy. Anyway, the Rillaboom takes a lot of damage. This is, like, genuinely a free raid you can make here. Also, here, this is like, if the Hydro Pump hit here, you would be forced to make a raid here. Watch this. So basically, Nihilego survives the hit, like, without a Hydro Pump, but, like, basically what you would have to go for is a Wicked Blow plus Sucker Punch should actually win you the game. Excuse me. So basically, you're gonna see here what I'm trying to say here. So basically, if we would just get, like, the free switch in here to the Thundurus, we would be genuinely free to kind of, like, go for a Wicked Blow in the Celesteela, and while to charge the KO the Politoed, Also, the Celesteela would not get a defense boost, so yeah, so we basically would just bring down the Celesteela in the range for ball charge range. Actually, look at this. This is pathetic damage. Wow. But I believe, like, actually, I think we should be still able to win even without the Hunter Bombers. But yeah, this is again exactly not a very positive matchup. Thundurus in late game should be able to clean up stuff like Politoed. If you feared Celesteela getting a defense beast from Urshifu, just protect the Urshifu. Basically what I mean, like, we're to protect the Urshifu. So if Thundurus would be here and be able to KO the Politoed, and Celesteela would be like kind of free to go for Heavy Slam to get the defense boost, you would protect the Urshifu here. And next turn you would go for Wild Charge plus Wicked Blow, which combined should KO the Celesteela. Since I believe this Wild Charge roll I got like here, or like 43% was that had to be very low roll. So basically Wild Charge plus Wicked Blow then should KO, and you should be able to win the game. And like if they go for Legion and Thundurus, like why? Like why would you do that? Like there's no reason to, because the Celesteela would be at full HP at that point. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Like I'm kinda not sure if you do, but like yeah, basically this should be a winnable matchup, but it's again kind of like not a very positive matchup. Like kind of a shame. Kind of a cool name for the core, but like the matchups are like not so good so far. Alright, I'm gonna like say this is like mirror matchup, so it can go like a Thundurus Clefairy versus Thundurus Clefairy. I'm gonna try to show you what happens when that does not happen. So for example, if they got Nihilego plus Cortana lead. So basically, this Cortana cannot one-shot Clefairy reliably. So what I think opponent does is they go for max Airstream here into the Clefairy. This is like generally I think the best play. If they go for Steel Spike, this is still not a guaranteed KO on the Clefairy, so don't worry. So if they go for like Meteor Beam plus max Steel Spike, they should not be able to KO the like if they don't KO the Clefairy, Meteor Beam goes in the Clefairy with like 1 HP, and you should be able to genuinely like still win the game pretty easily. So basically, I'm gonna explain this. So basically what they go for, like if I go for Nihilego and they go for Airstream, then they go for max Steel Spike next turn, KO the Clefairy, and thanks to Nihilego getting the speed boost for the max Airstream, Nihilego will now outspeed and just simply one-shot the Thundurus with Meteor Beam. So I think that is genuinely what the opponent will go for game 1, like definitely. That is just kind of like completely free play. Also, this is like the sample team I best my team from, and this team actually uses a Choice Band Urshifu for some reason. Also, the Rotom Heat cleanup is like kind of genuinely free right now. Yeah, like the Rotom just super power does good damage to that Rotom. The Cortana is gonna go for surprisingly big hit, I believe, in the Rotom. Oof, that's 60%, yeah. But my Rotom just cleans up, and at this point, this is over. So yeah, go for the Airstream turn 1, and you should be able to get the things done. So basically, like even if they go for Steel Spike, it's not the end of the world. You still got about 37% to win the game, even if you get the read wrong. So I think that's like there's obvious choice to go for. What kind of rate to go for? Go for Airstream into that Cortana, alright? Alright, this is a bit of a joke matchup. Like this Weezing team is like, oh, this is like not very strategic game. It's like a lot of like he who plays here. So by the way, look at this. So basically, you would be like thinking like Clefairy feints turn 1 to the max strike from Regigigas because it's just so powerful, and Weezing goes for taunt. By the way, this is a sin from the opponent to not go for protect on Weezing here. This is genuinely free Meteor Beam. Opponent has to reconsider. But even if we get the reading correctly, we should still be able to capitalize on this. So basically, look at this. Weezing is gonna protect. This is gonna like Meteor Beam. I'm gonna try to KO the Weezing here, so Weezing cannot like go for protect next turn. Alright? Alright, so continue the game. Now helping in a Hailstorm is a guaranteed KO on Weezing. Now if you are gonna be against experienced player and you know that the opponent knows that they got Sugar Berry, I would go for Max Quake, since like opponent knows that the Max Quake plus Helping Hand won't KO Weezing, and thus I cannot go for it, right? So I'm gonna go for Hailstorm, which means there is a genuinely free Torkoal switch here. So if you're up against an experienced player, and they know that you know that they got Sugar Berry, go for helping and max Quake, since there's extremely high chance of Turtles once you get in there. Like, Regigigas might not be like extra dangerous that turn, but you just go for it, man. Just go for the knockout on Turtle. Also, yeah, there's the Urshifu doesn't have Focus Sash, so Mid Blast just kind of like deletes it. Also, this Turtle will be kind of irritating and like, actually not that irritating. You just kind of like go for Max Quake and delete it as well. So hopefully you understand what I'm telling you. So basically, again, mind plays here. Like, this team is all about mind plays so far. So if you're actually a beginner player, I'm looking at it like right now. If you're a beginner player, I would not recommend this team since it requires a lot of raids to be done. But if you need to like train yourself in raids, like you need to just want to get better at reading people, try this team, because I feel this is like amazing team. I'm gonna probably mention this at the end of the video again. So like, yeah, some mind plays here and there in these replays. It's kind of like tough because it's just not the, it's not like my previous replays in my previous episodes where we just kind of like win regardless of whatever we do. Here we just kind of like have to read for like first time in my videos. Just kind of have to read. So now for some quick counters. So basically you saw, like, actually I did not mention it. I should have probably mentioned it. So Regigigas has been a culprit in a lot of bad late game scenarios. Like you can see like Regigigas just going for Electro Webs. And there's not much like non-Dynamax Thundurus that can do about it. Like Electro Web hits Thundurus pretty hard, and suddenly like, oh, Regigigas can outspeed the +1 speed Thundurus and finish it off with Electro Web, and finishes off Clefairy as well. And suddenly Electro Web can get off against like my late game Nihilego Urshifu, which means like Regigigas' ally Urshifu can suddenly outspeed my Urshifu and go for close combat and KO it. And same applies for Nihilego, that can just kind of like get Wicked Blow to Oblivion. And if Nihilego got Focus Sash, it can get like its Focus Sash removed with Electro Web as well. So I would recommend like Regigigas as a great late game cleanup. After Thundurus stops Dynamaxing and it's heavily chipped, and Clefairy is heavily chipped as well, Electro Web cleans them up, and then Electro Web prepares the field for Urshifu plus Nihilego counteraction, alright? So Regigigas is a great late game sweeper against this team. Now, Glastrier is surprisingly good, like, against the Nihilego and Thundurus early sweeps. So basically, you just kind of delete the Clefairy with Max Steel Spike. You don't actually delete it, but like, you get a lot of damage on them, and you can get like, against Thundurus, you get a Steel Spike boost, so you're like extremely resilient against them. Like, Thundurus has only like base 115 attack, and it has to run Jolly, so it's not extra powerful. Even with like Life Orb. So if you go for Max Steel Spike, there's a chance you're gonna fall the Thundurus at the Oblivion. And Max Quake plus Max Steel Spike carries the Clefairy as well, so it's like you can get like special defense boost against an Nihilego if they decide to Dynamax. And with Assault Vest, you take the Meteor Beam surprisingly well. Like, you probably still get 2-hit KO'd, but like with Max Quake, you're not gonna get 2-hit KO'd. You get the idea. So basically, Glastrier is kind of surprisingly good counteraction for this. But wait up, I'm gonna show you the best counter for the last, so stay tuned for that in like 2 minutes. So basically, Metagross or Kartana with Assault Vest are also great counters. So basically, again, Thundurus cannot really damage the Metagross too well. Metagross has pretty high, like it has fair chance of killing Clefairy as well. And unlike Kartana, it can go for Ice Punch Max Hellstorm to just straight up do big damage to the Thundurus. So basically, if you go to Assault Vest, you take the Helping Hand plus Max Flare from Rhythm Heat as well. So like, yeah, Metagross is pretty good, and he can run Rock Slide as well to do good damage to Rhythm Heat as well. Also, it takes the Urshifu's attack like Wicked Blow pretty well as well, because it just got such high base defense. So yeah, Kartana is very similar to Metagross. It like gets the Steel Spike boost. It actually outspeeds Nihilego, so it can kind of like, it can be used not only as a early game Dynamax sweeper, but as well a cleanup for Nihilego. So basically, like, if Nihilego did not get any defense or speed boost, you can just come in with Kartana late game and just kind of remove it with Smart Strike. Because Nihilego got just such a low defense, and Kartana just got such a high attack. Can you please explain to me why Showdown recommended me 0 attack IVs? I got no clue. But yeah, Cortana can be used as a great late game and early game sweeper. So basically, for these two guys, you absolutely need some return protection and some Urshifu protection kind of as well. Would be kind of appreciated. So Urshifu Rapid Strikes beats the other Dark type Urshifu because it's not weak to fighting, unlike the other guy is. And it got like Aqua Jet, which is like Sucker Punch, but it like even if you lose the speed die, like basically they get Sucker Punch off before we can get Aqua Jet. Aqua Jet still connects to the Urshifu, so it is like, it's quite nice to have like close combat and then don't fear losing the speed die with Sucker Punch. Basically Aqua Jet just goes for the attack. As you can see here, I'm trying to pressure the overheat user the most, so this is like great counter to Rotom Heat. I believe we can just kind of KO it with Surging Strikes, unless they Dynamax or set up Sun. So yeah, this is like great counter. And Dracovish is also a pretty good mention as well, because it outspeeds the Rotom Heat as well, of course, and it outspeeds the opponent's Urshifu. So if you break its Focus Sash, you can just outspeed it and go for Vicious Rain and just KO it as well. It's also much better counteraction than Nihilego, since Nihilego can go, kind of go for like Sludge Bomb and bring it down to Focus Sash and then poison it. It just kind of gets ugly, but Choice Scarf Dracovish just outspeeds it and Vicious Rains it for one shot, and with Power Hub, it cannot lift the hit at any point. Now let me go for second counters to not call, and that is Whimsicott plus Sunrays. Is also pretty good. Like, you have to only really fear the Trickery mode for Nihilego, but if you get like Assault Vest on the Sunrays and like kind of get like Defense Beast with the RNF Max Steel Spike, you're probably gonna just straight up KO the. You're not gonna KO the. Excuse me, you're not gonna KO the Glastrier, but double up well KO the Glastrier, and like then if you got like kind of like slow mon, like I don't know, like rapid strikes Urshifu, like oh yeah, that is just sinister as whatever. Like suddenly Max Steel Spike goes to Glastrier, Surging Strikes, opponent setups the Trick Room, but suddenly your own Urshifu underspeeds their Nihilego and Surging Strike is a guaranteed knockout. If they bring their Rotom, they still kind of have to go through the Focus Sash on Urshifu, so like even if they protect Nihilego, I go for Surging Strikes, go through a protection. Like it gets very ugly. I could just go on with this rant, but if you believe they don't have Trick Room, or you saw like open team sheet and you saw they do not have Trick Room, excuse me, let me just, oh, the music is still going. All right, nice. So if you still got like, if you know they have got like Power Gem and not Trick Room, just go with Whimsicott and you're like ultra screwed. Like they just cannot beat the Tailwind. They just cannot. It's too offensive and you got too much speed advantage. So yeah, and last counter, the best one, like by quite a mile, is Regigigas. Now you can pick if you want Assault Vest or Weakness policy, but basically Regigigas takes the Thundurus' hits like champ, and a guaranteed 2-hit KOs. They can go for Steel Spike to 2-hit KO the Clefairy and make the attacks of Thundurus completely loathable. It can go for Max Rockfall to set up the sand, so it takes the Meteor Beam from Nihilego a lot better. Rotom Heat cannot touch it, basically after that. The Urshifu has to go for a close combat against it, which basically brings it down to Focus Sash, and then like the Regigigas just kind of goes to Max Steel Spike. And close combat does like, I believe, 30%, about 30%, and you go for Steel Spike, almost bring it down to Focus Sash and increase your defense. Regigigas is by far the best counteraction to this. It's not even close. Nothing comes even close to the pure counteraction Regigigas brings. Like, you go for Max Quick, you just straight up KO the Rotom Heat. Excuse me, Nihilego. Also, you like go for Max Rockfall, you 2-hit KO the... I did not 2-hit KO the Glastrier, but like Glastrier cannot do anything to you either. And if you're really feeling like lucky, like you can go for Weakness policy, and all of a sudden, like they cannot go for super effective attacks like ever. And like Max Knuckle plus Close Combat does not KO the Regigigas. It's not even close. So yeah, if you want like, if you're like so allergic to this team and you got like one free slot on a team, add in Regigigas and you're like out of a blush. Regigigas is the best counter to this by a far mile. So yeah, some closing words. So basically this team is like the team I showed you, not the counters. So basically this team is surprisingly reliant in the matchups, but if you want to like get better in reading people or try to get better like in reads overall, use this theme. It's great. Like, even if you lose a lot, you still learn something. It increases your skill level. So if you want to increase your skill level, use this theme since it's surprisingly reliant. It does not win automatically, even though you see like all these hyper offensive Pokemon. It very rarely wins automatically off the lead because like these mons are not like Regigigas that they just don't care about anything. These are like surprisingly like not as offensive Pokemon. So yeah, if you want to get better in this game, I highly recommend you running this thing, and I'll catch you next time in next Metagame Monday. Alright, see you.